Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. So today we are going to start this chapter of migration, and this chapter is from Human Geography, class 12th. So let's understand this chapter. So at the starting of this chapter, there's a very small story, and I assume that you're going to read it. So we are leaving the part of the story, and let's start with the chapter. In your book, The Fundamentals of Human Geography, you have already learnt about the concept and definition of migration. Migration has been an integral part of and a very important factor in redistributing population over time and space. India has witnessed the waves of migrants coming from Central and West Asia and also from Southeast Asia. In fact, the history of India is a history of waves of migrants coming and settling one after another in different parts of the country. In the words of renowned poet फिराक गोरखपुरी, सरजमीन हिंद पर आवाम के आलम के फरीक फिराक काफिले बसते गए हिंदुस्तान बनता गया. The caravans of people from all parts of the world kept on coming and settling in India and led to the formation of India. Similarly, large numbers of people from India too have been migrating to places in search of better opportunities, especially to the countries of Middle East, Western Europe, America, Australia, and East and Southeast Asia. There's a box of Indian diaspora, and we're going to read that. Indian diaspora. During colonial period, British period, millions of indentured laborers were sent to Mauritius, Caribbean islands, Trinidad, Tobago, and Guyana, Fiji, and South Africa by British from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. To Reunion Island, Guadeloupe, Martinique, and Suriname by French and Dutch, and by Portuguese from Goa, Daman and Diu to Angola, Mozambique to work as plantation workers. All such migrations were covered under the time bound contract known as the Girmic Act, Indian Emigration Act. However, the living conditions of these indentured laborers were not better than the slaves. The second wave of migrants ventured out into the neighboring countries in recent times as professionals, artisans, traders, and factory workers in search of economic opportunities to Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei, and South African countries, etc. The trend still continues. There was a steady outflow of India's semi skilled and skilled labor in the wake of oil boom in West Asia in the 1970s. There was also some outflow of entrepreneurs, store owners, professionals, and businessmen to Western countries. Third wave of migrant was comprised comprised of professionals like doctors, engineers in 1960s onwards, software engineers, management consultants, financial experts, media persons 1980 onwards, and other migrated to countries such as USA, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Germany. These professionals enjoy the distinction of being one of highly educated and highest earning and prospering groups. After liberalization in the 90s, education and knowledge based Indian emigration has made Indian diaspora one of the most powerful diasporas in the world. In all these countries, Indian diaspora has been playing an important role in the development of the respective countries. Migration. You're familiar with the census in India. It contains information about migration in the country. Actually, migration was recorded beginning from the first census of India conducted in 1881. This data was recorded on the basis of place of birth. However, the first major modification of the was introduced in 1961 census by bringing in two additional components, with birth of place of birth, that is village or town, and duration or of residence if born elsewhere. Further, in 1971, additional information on place of last residence and duration of stay at the place of enumeration was incorporated. Information on reasons for migration were incorporated in 1981 census and modified in consecutive censuses. In the census, the following questions are asked on migration. Is the person born in this village or town? If no, then further information is taken on rural and urban status of the place of birth, name of district and state. If outside India, then name of the country of birth. Has the person come to this village or town from elsewhere? If yes, then further questions are asked about the status, rural and urban, of previous place of residence, name of district and state, and if outside India, the name of the country. In addition, the reasons for migration from the place of last residence and duration of residence in place of enumeration are also asked. In the Census of India, migration is enumerated in two bases. First is place of birth. If the place of birth is different from the place of enumeration, known as lifetime migrant. Second is the place of resident. If a place of last residence is different from the place of enumeration, known as migrant by place of last residence. As per 2011 census, out of 1,210 million people in the country, 455.8 million, about 37%, were reported as migrants of place of last residence. Streams of migration. A few facts pertaining to the internal migration within the country and international migration out of the country and into the country from other countries are presented here. Under the internal migrants, the stream was dominated by female migrants. Most of these were migrants related to marriage. The distribution of male and female migrants in different streams of intrastate and interstate migration is presented in the figure 2.1 and 2.1b. It is clearly evident that females predominate the streams of short distance rural to rural migration in both types of migration. Contrary to this, men predominate the rural to urban stream of interstate migration due to economic reasons. Apart from these streams of internal migration, India also experiences immigration. Immigration, four streams are identified: rural to rural, rural to urban, urban to urban, urban to rural. In India during 2011, out of 445 million migrants enumerated on the basis of last residence, 141.9 million had changed their place of residence in the last 10 years. Out of these, 118.7 million were intrastate from and emigration to the neighboring countries. Table 2.1 presents the details of migrants from the neighboring countries. Indian Census 2011 has recorded that more than 5 million persons have migrated to India from other countries. Out of these, about 88.9% came from neighboring countries, Bangladesh, followed by Nepal and Pakistan. Spatial variation in migration. Some states like Maharashtra, Delhi, Gujarat, and Haryana attract migrants from other states such as Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, etc. Maharashtra occupied first place in migrants, followed by Delhi, Gujarat, and Haryana. On the other hand, Uttar Pradesh was the state which had the largest number of net out migrants from the state. Causes of migration. People generally are emotionally attached to their place of birth, but millions of people leave their places of birth and residence. There could be a variety of reasons. These reasons can be put into two broad categories. One is push factor. These cause people to leave their place of residence or origin. Second is pull factors, which attract the people from different places. In India, people migrate from rural to urban areas mainly due to poverty, high population, pressure on the land, lack of basic infrastructural facilities like healthcare, education, etc. Apart from these factors, natural disasters such as flood, drought, cyclonic storms, earthquake, tsunami, wars, and local conflicts also give extra push to migrate. On the other hand, there are pull factors which attract people from rural areas to cities. The most important pull factor for majority of the rural migrants to urban areas is better opportunities, availability of regular work, and relatively higher wages. Better opportunities for education, better health facilities, and sources of entertainment, etc., are also quite important pull factors. Examine the reasons for migration for males and females separately in Figure 2.2. On the basis of the figures, it can be seen that the reason for migration of males and females are different. For example, work and employment have remained the main cause of male migration 26%, while only 2.3% for the females. Contrary to this, about 67% of females move out from their paternal houses following their marriage. This is the most important cause in the rural areas of India, except in Meghalaya, where reverse is the case. In comparison to these marriage migration of the male, only 4% marriage in comparison to these marriage migration of the male is only 4% in the country. Consequences of migration. Migration is a response to the uneven distribution of opportunities over space. People tend to move from place of low opportunity and low safety to the place of higher opportunity and better safety. This in turn creates both benefits and problems for the areas people migrate and migrate to. Consequences can be observed in economic, social, cultural, and political and demographic terms. Economic consequences. A major benefit for the source region is the remittance sent by migrants. Remittances from international migrants are one of the major sources of foreign exchange. In 2002, India received US $1.1 billion as remittances from international migrants. Punjab, Kerala and Tamil Nadu receive very significant amount from their international migrants. The amount of remittances sent by international migrants is very meager as compared to international migrants, but it plays an important role in the growth of economy of the source area. Remittances are mainly used for food, repayment of debts, treatment, marriages, children's education, agriculture inputs, construction of houses, etc. For thousands of the poor villages of Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, etc., remittance works as lifeblood for their economy. Migration from rural areas of eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, and Odisha to rural areas of Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh accounted for the success of their Green Revolution strategy for agricultural development. Besides this, unregulated migration to the metropolitan cities of India has caused overcrowding. Development of slums in industrially developed states such as Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Delhi is a negative consequence of unregulated migration within the country. Demographic consequences. Migration leads to the redistribution of population within a country. Rural urban migration is one of the most important factors contributing to the population growth of cities. Age and skill selective out migration from the rural areas have adverse effect on the rural demographic structure. However, high out migration from Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and eastern Maharashtra have brought serious imbalances in age and sex composition in these states. Similar imbalances are also brought in the recipient's state. What is the cause of imbalance in sex ratio in the place of origin and destination of the migrants? Social consequences. Migrants act as agents of social change. The new ideas related to new technologies, family planning, girls' education, etc., get diffused from urban to rural areas through them. Migration tends to leads to intermixing of people from diverse cultures. It has positive contributions such as evolution of composite culture and breaking through the narrow considerations and widens up the mental horizon of people at large. But it also has serious negative consequences such as anonymity, which creates social vacuum and sense of dejection among individuals. Continued feeling of dejection may motivate people to fall in the trap of anti-social activities like crime and drug abuse. Environmental consequences. Overcrowding of people due to rural urban migration has put pressure on the existing social and physical infrastructure in the urban areas. This ultimately leads to unplanned growth of urbanization, urban settlement, and formation of slums, shanty colonies. Apart from this, due to overexploitation of natural resources, cities are facing the acute problem of depletion of groundwater, air pollution, disposal of sewage, and management of solid wastes. Others. Migration, even excluding the marriage migration, affects the status of women directly or indirectly. In the rural areas, male selective out migration, leaving their wives behind, puts extra physical as well as mental pressure on the women. Migration of women, either for education or employment, enhances their autonomy and role in the economy. If remittances are the major benefits of migration, from the point of view of the source region, the loss of human resources, particularly high skilled people, is the most serious cost. The market for advanced skills has truly become truly a global market, and the most dynamic industrial economies are admitting and recruiting significant proportions of the highly trained professionals from poor regions. Consequently, the existing underdevelopment in the source region gets reinforced. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This was the end of chapter number 2 on migration for human geography. All the best for exams. Do share and subscribe and keep supporting us. And also, now we have a Telegram and a Twitter handle for your doubts, queries, comments, and feedbacks. And we welcome all of them. Thank you everyone for tuning in. All the best for exams, and do share and subscribe the channel and keep supporting us. Thank you everyone.